Hello and welcome to The Big Fight, the oldest running news debate show on Indian television. I'm Sanket Tripathi. Now, the Prime Minister's surprise visit to Leh did what it aimed to do, surprise, but it shocked the Chinese. I think that too was expected. With a strong statement coming in from the Chinese Foreign Ministry, perhaps like most, they did not expect the Prime Minister to visit. They called it an escalation. How can the visit of an Indian Prime Minister on Indian soil, meeting officials of the Indian Army, Indian Air Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, be escalation beats? It is very clear, though, that Narendra Modi's China policy has now stepped out of a comfort zone of a status quo. We have come far from app ban to restricting Chinese company investments, and now this. Our equation with the neighbor is changing. The political debate too is alive, with the Congress taking about 6 to 8 hours to now officially respond. They say, why is the PM shying away from saying China? He's saying everything but not saying China. BJP says he has done a lot more than taking names. So on The Big Fight tonight, we look at the usual politics and beyond. Prime Minister in Leh, booster for forces and a tough message for China. What should really be our strategy going forward now that we are out of status quo? Also on the show, we shall be getting you an exclusive interview with Union Minister Nitin Gadkari. He speaks on the MSME, road transport, his ministry's role as far as an Atmanirbhar Bharat is concerned. It's all intertwined with China, with the fact that now we are not associating a lot with China. Let me introduce our guest this evening. I've got Rakesh Sinha, Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Suhasini Haidar, National Editor and Diplomatic Affairs Editor of The Hindu. Thank you so much, Suhasini. Nice to have you on the show. Brahma Chelani, Strategic Affairs Expert. Gaurav Vallabh, Spokesperson of the Congress Party. And in just a short moment, we'll be joined in by Lalita Kumaramangalam, Director of the India Foundation. Okay, so as is the format of the show, we give you 1 minute time to make your opening comment. It's called the first punch. Professor Rakesh Sinha, your 1 minute.
You know, this speech is historic in a manner that beyond the boundary dispute, Narendra Modi has transformed the entire conflict into a battle of ideas. This has hurt the Chinese. Narendra Modi articulated that the battle is between Vistarvad and Vikasvad. On the one hand, the entire world wants the development. There is one country, without naming China, he said, they are expansionist by their core of heart, by their temperament, and they are doing so. So this battle is going to be decisive. This message has reached beyond the boundaries of India. The billions of the people who want that there should be peace and prosperity rather than expansion and war. Therefore, this has acted as a great soft diplomacy to impose the heavy burden of the world unity on China. Second important thing that he delineated and defined Indian nationalism in most cohesive manner.
Okay.
By including the instances and
Professor Sinha, my apologies. The 1 minute time for the first punch is over, but I think we'll have a lot of time for you to be able to complete your thought. So if you allow me, Gaurav Vallabh of the Congress Party, your first punch. 1 minute time. Your time begins now.
Sanket, on 22nd of February 2014, Prime Minister quoted in China should shed expansionist mindset. And today, after 6 years, I agree that this is not an age of expansionism, it is an age of development agenda. But the asatyavad should be concluded right away, because development can't be with asatyavad, because in asatyavad there can be only vivad, there can't be vad in asatyata. And second thing, I am asking Sanket, please get me the answer by the end of this show, that which diplomacy asked Prime Minister not to name China? We had seen Man Ki Baat, we had seen Desh Ka Sambodhan, we had seen Sainiko Ki Baat, we had seen all party meeting. Why he is so afraid of taking China's name? What is the diplomatic reasons for not taking the China's name when Prime Minister of our country is speaking?
Okay.
Is it not
Okay, the first punch. The time for the first punch over. Gaurav Vallabh.
Okay.
Gaurav Vallabh. Yeah, I'm going to come back to you. That's how the show goes. Brahmachelani and then Suhasini Heather. Your first point. Brahmachelani, we'll begin with you. 1 minute.
The government of India has finally woken up to the seriousness of the border situation prevailing in Ladakh. By going to Ladakh, Prime Minister Modi has made amends for the confusion that he sowed on June 19th when he gave a televised statement on the border situation. His visit and his comments in Ladakh are significant. They underscore India's resolve to drive back the Chinese aggression and encroachments. And by referring to expansionism, he has underscored the mounting international concerns over China's imperial overreach under President Xi Jinping, who has opened multiple fronts, not just against India and Japan and in South China Sea. He's also opened various other fronts, including Hong Kong, East China Sea, and even a front vis-a-vis the United States. So all in all, it was a good visit and a good speech by the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
But it has come rather late in the day when the situation on the ground has gone from bad to worse.
All right. Brahmachelani, thank you very much for your first punch. Suhasini Heather now. 1 minute time.
You know, I would like to start where Dr. Chelani left off, which is to say that what the Prime Minister has said today has some very direct messages in it. There's that strong message to China, which China got, even though the Prime Minister did not mention China's name. And they've hit back with what sounds like a threat. There's the diplomatic outreach. He said the entire world is together to take on expansionist powers. He's reminding China and reminding the world that they all need to come to India's aid if need be. And there's a political message home that he sent in his speech today, where questions have been asked about the government keeping the nation in the dark and making it very clear what that message is. However, I do think that the unsaid messages are important. And the biggest message is, the biggest unsaid message is that what the Prime Minister said today is so starkly different from what he said 2 weeks ago, when he said, na koi ghusaya hai, na koi ghusa hua hai, at the LAC, that he needs to explain just what has caused this massive shift in 2 weeks. Are the Chinese troops a bigger worry than they were 2 weeks ago? Is this over a period of time?
So what explains this change?
And also,
so
it's a big message from it's a big message from what he has said today, simply that the military talks and the diplomatic talks between India and China today are going nowhere.
They are going nowhere. Thank you. The first punch for Lalita Kumaramangalam, Director of the India Foundation, who is now also with us. Ms. Kumaramangalam, the first punch. 1 minute time.
Yes. To all the naysayers, I'd like to say that Narendra Modi ji, our Honorable Prime Minister, I think he achieved exactly what he wanted to do. He was able to reassure our troops that the country and especially the senior leaders of the government are standing by them. He was able to tell them that we thank them for their dedication and their sacrifices. He also sent some very pointed messages to both China and to the world. Now, it's not necessary to name China in this, because everybody knows who he was talking about, not only from the fact as to where he went, but also who he spoke to and how he said what he wanted to say. Of course, there will be naysayers, and of course, there will always be people who say that this is not working, that is not working. But let me remind everybody that diplomacy does not take place overnight. The de-escalation of something that has become such a problem also does not take place overnight. It's less than a month since that horrible incident that happened where both our soldiers were killed and many Chinese soldiers were killed. Hence, I think we need to give him credit for the courage he had to go there and take as tough and as clear a stand as he took.
Yeah, 1 minute opening comment time over. Let's begin the big fight now. Professor Sinha, I want to ask you this question. We seem to be losing the audio connection on Gaurav Vallabh. The point that he was trying to make is actually on the basis of a tweet by a journalist called Anant Krishnan. He tweets two images from The Hindu. Image number 1 is of a write-up from 22nd February 2014, where the Prime Minister says, China should shed expansionist mindset. Cut to 2020, July 3rd, 2020, again The Hindu, where the Prime Minister says, age of expansionism over. Do you think, Professor Sinha, that the more things change, the more they remain the same.
You know, Narendra Modi ji is consistent in his approach. During his visit to Japan, which Brahmachalani and others would explain better than me, it was the first visit after coming to power in Japan, where he gave a clear and unambiguous message to the world, that particularly to China, that the era of expansionism ended. It is a medieval concept. There is no place for that. It is not a hollow message by the Prime Minister. The way he planned his tour, he went to Mongolia, you know the relationship between Mongolia and China. He went to Vietnam, you know the relationship between Vietnam and China. Japan. So he tried to make a club of the nations who have been victim of the Chinese expansionism. China is an expansionist by its core and creed. It is not a new thing. And Nehru witnessed the defeat of India, knowing this fact when he was warned that China is an expansionist country. India tried its best. Congress blames that jhula jhula. We tried our best, formal and informal way to create a friendship and peace and prosperity to change the mind. It is the monopoly of the government. But at the same time, it was not hollow. Since 2014, Narendra Modi government has been preparing the infrastructure at the border which alarmed the Chinese. That kicks and rebuffs which China used to give India is being reciprocated by India. It is not an old India.
Okay, let me get in a response. Gaurav Vallabh, you've heard Professor Sinha.
Yeah.
He says that, can you really blame Narendra Modi? You knew what the Chinese designs were, yet at the same time, he chose the path of diplomacy. He chose the path of friendship. For 6 long years, he did so. And if we have been betrayed even after that, what choice does he have?
Sanket, what the representative from BJP is saying, that Modi ji is consistent in his approach. Means for last 6 years, he is consistently saying what is that China is having the policy of expansionism. For last 6 years, he is continuing. What do you mean by
please
this?
elaborate.
I mean to convey that what happened to 18 meetings? What happened to 5 visits to China? What happened to the 3 visits by Xi Jinping to India? The same mindset is there. And second point, Sanket, I was aware that he is going to raise Pandit Nehru's issue. I would, with very humble words, I would like to say, Mr. Sinha, that don't compare the writer of Discovery of India with the amateur artist of Discovery Channel. The difference is this wide. One side, Pandit Nehru, who is the author of the Discovery of India.
Okay,
and
one by one, right to reply. Lalita Kumaramanglam and then Professor Sinha. Very quickly.
So don't compare this.
Lalita Kumaramanglam wanted to come in.
First of all, to my friend Gaurav Vallabh, I'd like to say I quite appreciate why you're saying don't compare Discovery Channel with Discovery of India. The courage that both the men showed in those 2 cases is quite different. But let's leave an old story of 62 where we were slapped around really badly out of this picture. The fact is that it took 6 years of effort before India has finally said that, look, we're tired of turning the other cheek. Let me also remind everybody on the show that for dozens of times, it would be possible for me to even count. Every time anybody from the BJP, not just Prime Minister Modi, has said that China needs to be met with force, the cacophony about why do we have to go to war? Why can't we settle things diplomatically is there. So in this case, it seems to always have been damned if you do and damned if you don't. Now, when finally we have taken a tough stand, and let's also be clear that this tough stand is not just to do with their incursion, so-called what they call the incursion
But Lalita,
in India,
there are a couple of questions. Ms. Kumaramanglam, see, there are a couple of questions here.
You can ask me whatever questions. Let me finish. Please, let me finish. You never interrupted the others. Let me finish. For the first time, when we're taking a tough stand, and today it was not as if he was declaring war. He just said that, look, we are here to protect our own. However, we still believe in peace. But if you push us beyond the point, we are more than willing to take you on.
Absolutely.
So I don't think he declared war.
Nobody seems to suggest over here that the Prime Minister's visit over there was a statement of war or a declaration of war. Nobody is saying this. In fact, he talked about preparedness. We heard that speech. I've got the speech with me. But Suhasini Heather, very quickly before I go and give Professor Sinha a right to reply. See, the point over here is the key questions that were being asked of the Prime Minister, of the establishment, not of the army, but of the establishment. How did this incident happen? The Galwan incident, right? Are Chinese troops still on Indian territory? Now, these are a few questions we still do not have answers to.
You know, Sanket, the obvious answer to that, and I'm not getting into the politics of this, is if you look at the fact that for 2 months, we have had this standoff at the LAC. This is not something the government told us about. This was not something the Ministry of External Affairs announced. And yet,
Correct.
2 months later, what was the latest statement the MEA gave us on June 26th? They said China has been amassing troops and armaments since early May. So my question to everybody, and you know, I take the point that, you know, there will be naysayers. This is not about naysaying. This is about asking what the nation actually deserves. And the nation deserves that they get a clear line on exactly what is going on. If for 2 months you kept it a secret that China was amassing troops and armaments, and I'm quoting from the MEA statement, then at least today turn around and tell us what exactly is happening. What is the map? Where are the Chinese troops? If the Prime Minister says one day there is nobody on Indian soil, that there were attempted transgressions, and then comes out with a speech today, which I think has been very, very heartening for everyone to hear, and certainly for the troops, I'm sure it really did boost them.
Correct.
But if the Prime Minister is then talking in that tone and using the words which do seem extremely warlike, then we need to know what has changed. Should the nation not actually know what has happened and what they must prepare for? I think that is...
Okay, I think that's a significant point. Does the nation not deserve to know what in the equation has changed? Let me ask that question to Professor Sinha, but before I do that, Brahma Chelani, would you like to perhaps tell us what you think has changed?
I think we have lost valuable time by trying to obscure the facts, and in the process, we have allowed the Chinese to consolidate and expand their encroachments. When the clashes occurred in early May, the Indian government described them as minor. It's only later that we realized that scores of Indian and Chinese soldiers were wounded in those clashes, and a number of wounded soldiers had to be airlifted to hospitals. So throughout the month of May and in the first half of June, the Indian government sought to downplay the developments along the border with China and sought to obscure the truth.
Okay.
Until the fatal clashes of June 15th made it impossible for the government of India to continue on the same path. Because once there were fatalities, you could no longer suppress the truth. Now, what is even more significant is that since the Prime Minister's June 19th speech, where he said there had been no intrusion and no intruders on Indian soil, in the last 2 weeks since that speech, the Chinese have carried out fresh encroachments. They have encroached on Devsang Plateau's Y junction, and also the site of the June 15th clashes now is in Chinese control. So the situation has steadily gone from bad to worse. We have lost valuable time, and we have allowed China to expand and to consolidate its positions.
But Mr. Chelani, if I were to ask you, isn't that exactly what the government is saying? That China has these nefarious designs. This is exactly what the government says, briefing after briefing.
Well, the government of India was not saying that in its briefings. It may be now willing to admit that. But for weeks on end, the attempt was to play down the situation, to say that things were under control.
Okay.
When in fact, the opposite was happening. When, when the Chinese were beefing up their force deployments, they were making fresh
So we wasted crucial
incursions.
time. According to Mr. Chelani, according to Dr. Chelani, we should have acted earlier where we chose to downplay. Professor Sinha, would you like to respond?
Sanket,
we wasted crucial time.
Sanket, in the beginning, you made a very significant point that Modi-China policy has shifted. It has not shifted after Galwan Valley. In 2013, earlier also I said, and many people have said, that in Parliament, A.K. Antony very strongly very unambiguously said that we are not prepared to match with China as far as infrastructure is concerned at the border. At the border, 3,800 kilometers India-China border was left without infrastructure. It is Narendra Modi in 2014, while playing the politics, the diplomacy with China of friendship. At the same time, he was preparing infrastructure. Suhasini Aidar and other people should understand. What else he wants more from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, External Affairs Ministry or Defense Minister? There is no contradiction. If there is amassing of the forces, this means that they have amassed not in the Indian territory, they are in their own territory. And we all are clear, very transparent. This government is most transparent. Two important points which should be noted about Narendra Modi's government as far as China is concerned. One thing, that this government has given free hand to army. And it is not after the Galwan Valley conflict, before that. Second important thing is that we are matching China not in terms of only military, diplomacy. The kind of friendship we are creating, that diplomacy without your power, that Modi has propounded that.
Okay, Gaurav Vallabh wants to come in.
Preaching and practice of peace must be backed by power.
Okay, Professor Sinha has made his intervention. Gaurav Vallabh.
Sanket, I am just pointing out a unstarred question in Parliament answered by MOS Defence Shripad Nayak on 27/11/2019. That is November 27, 2019.
Okay.
And the question was that what are the number of transgressions by China in last 3 years? And you will be surprised, and your viewers will be surprised. In 2016, it was 273. In 2017, it was 426. And these are the same years when Modi ji and Jinping were meeting each other at various occasions, whether at Sabarmati Bank or whether at Mallapuram, various Wuhan agenda-less meetings. 2018, it was 326 transgressions by Chinese army into our side. This is the answer by Mr. Shripad Nayak. So that doesn't match what Mr. Sinha had just now quoted.
Professor Sinha,
then the second point.
Professor Sinha, what you say does not match with what the reality is.
I'm answering.
Quick right to reply, and then Lalita Kumara Mangal. Yeah.
Everybody who knows the diplomacy and defense also knows the important the LAC as for India China is concerned. That is a matter of perception. 1 meter there and here is concerned transgression of one army and another army. This is not in the UPA regime 600 times. They have reached to Arunachal Pradesh, but here is not the fight between the Congress and BJP. The fight is not between the BJP
so
and
the
Congress.
rebuttal is that a lot more was happening in the UPA.
Just a minute.
Sanket,
The entire nation is preparing to have battle.
Sanket, please allow me to come in. Gaurav has had his say. Let me have my
Party is
say.
waging war against Narendra Modi. China has only two loyal allies. One North Korea, the Indian National Congress.
Okay, Lalita Kumar Mangalam wanted to
Sanket,
come
may
in.
I audible?
I'll come back to you, Gaurav.
Sanket,
Yeah.
Sanket, the thing is that there have been transgressions, yes, but this is exactly what the government of Narendra Modi ji, what our government is now saying, that the Chinese are not to be trusted. Now, it doesn't mean that we trusted them in the past, but the fact is that in international diplomacy, one, you don't do things only in isolation. Two, China was India was in no real economic and, in a way, geopolitical position to be able to give China as tough an answer as today. Thirdly, the fact is that transgressions are of many types. They can be very minor, where people talk to each other from both sides and it's all settled. But in this case, it was not that they walked into our territory. In this case, they killed our soldiers who had gone to ensure that the promised retreat was taking place.
So Asmi has said, what has changed? You are saying that what has changed is that they've killed our men. Is that what you're saying?
They have killed our men and they have...
No, but then I think her question is what happened even before this? See,
before this, the
killing of our Jawans was a consequence of something.
The killing of our Jawans was like, it was just the last straw on the camel's back. That's how you want to look at it. Now, the other thing, 1 minute, I just have one additional point to make. Please let me make it. That is that when you are in a position like this, I don't think the whole of India is asking how many square feet has China come in. Most of Indians are asking, are we in a position to give a strong reply to China? The few who want to know the gory details or the intricate details know extremely well that when you are dealing with an opponent like China, in fact, when you're conducting international diplomacy, there are a lot of things that cannot be said 100% in public. Most of this is done behind closed doors between a few people.
Okay, and all governments do it. That's the point that that's the point Lalita is making. But Suhasini, very quickly, does that answer your question on what has changed?
In this case, because we want them to.
No, I'm sorry, it does not. It is really sad that it should take the deaths of 20 of our Jawans for the government to actually have to make a statement. I'm sorry, that just does not explain why, when on May 5th, as Dr. Chilani said, when on May 5th, we knew that in Pangong So there had been such a serious attack that 76 Indian soldiers were badly injured, that the government should be able to say, no, these are things that happen behind closed doors. I'm sorry, every time that India and China have had diplomacy, we've covered it as the media over the last few years. But this is a situation where anyone who even tried to say, look, these are very, very disturbing reports we are getting from the LAC. We were told that we were being anti-national, that nothing was happening at the LAC. And for anyone to now sort of justify it and say there were things happening behind closed doors, I don't think it fadges. I think we must understand that this is a serious situation that has confronted the nation now for 2 months.
We do understand.
That has to sink in. That has to sink in. And secondly, when Prime Minister Modi said nobody has transgressed, nobody is transgressing inside Indian territory, he was speaking after the 20 Jawans had been killed.
Correct.
So I'm asking what has happened since he spoke then and what he has said today that the nation should be told about.
Okay, so
and
the time frame has been
cover
set.
everything
Who
with
wants
this
to answer
national
this?
security cloak is, I think...
everything under a national security cloak is not justified because that covers up the reality. Professor Rakesh Sinha, I want to come to you. Can you answer what has changed between the statement that the Prime Minister made in an all-party meeting that nobody entered, nobody occupied Indian territory, to a point where now he's talking about preparedness? This is aggressive preparedness.
No, where is contradiction? I don't understand. When Prime Minister is saying that preparedness means China's politics and policy of fraud and deception, there was agreement in 1993 and a consequently two agreements. How to do patrolling, how to resolve the conflicts. If China is again repeating the politics and policy of deception, why the Indian intellectuals, some Indian intellectuals are trying to cover up the Chinese deception? Why are they blaming their own government? If I deceive at this juncture, I abuse you, you will never expect that I will abuse you. If I will abuse you, that is your not fault.
Okay, quick right to reply to Suhasini. I believe those barbs came your way, Suhasini. Quick right to reply.
This cannot be the way you deal with everyone who asks a question. We are asking questions of our government, and that is completely our right to do. The media has the right to ask questions without being necessarily tainted in this way. And I take offense on behalf of the media for the kind of allegation that if you ask a question, then...
Okay. 1 minute.
The counter allegation here that I'm making is not about not being nationalistic. The counter allegation
one by one, please, and no personal attacks. That's the nature of the big fight. Let's have a strong fight without getting personal. One moment. Brahma Chelani has not spoken for a while. Brahma Chelani, I want to know, and this is going forward. We have debated the past enough. We are here at the present. I want to know the future. Now, clearly, we have challenged the status quo. There are circumstances because of which we have had to, but I want to know from you, what do you see going forward? I mean, we've banned apps, we've restricted access to Chinese companies, the Prime Minister has gone to the border. Where do you see this going from here?
The government of India has made it clear that it wants a return to status quo ante. Status quo ante has been emphasized by the MEA in its statements. But India will not get status quo ante through negotiations. The Chinese are building permanent structures in the areas that they have grabbed. For example, in Lake Pangong, they've changed the landscape between fingers 4 and 8 by building dozens of concrete fortifications. Similarly, they have changed the landscape in Galwan Valley, including by building new tracks, ammunition dumps, and permanent structures for their troops. The vantage locations that they have seized they're going to hold on to those vantage locations. The question is the government of India willing to prolong the standoff indefinitely and impose costs on China militarily? Because right now, given the fact that India woke up very late, allowed the PLA to consolidate its position on the ground, it will not be easy for Indian army to evict the intruders.
Correct.
So we are faced with two options. If I could put it in black and white terms.
No.
One is to accept the new status quo that China is seeking to impose on India. Two, to resist the new status quo that China has created by prolonging the standoff and ensuring that China does not get a cost-free victory against India.
Prolonging the standoff. I think that's a very interesting assessment, because this would then mean that these military to military level dialogue, the foreign ministry engagement, we will have to procrastinate to get things going in our favor.
No.
Yes, and then, if I could add one more thing.
Yeah, one more. Yeah, Brahmachelani, and then I'll get a response, because it's a very interesting point.
This is the defining moment for India. How it emerges from this crisis will define its future security, will define its international standing. If we emerge in a situation where we are seen as the loser, this will have major implications for Indian security. It will bring greater Chinese pressure on India. It will also damage our international standing. So we should look at the broader picture, and we should not forget that Modi's visit to Ladakh, his one speech there, will not change the ground situation. The ground situation is quite grim for India. And a few steps like banning Chinese mobile apps
may not work. It has to be sustained.
That's just a slap on the
Gaurav Vallabh has been waiting for a very long time. Gaurav Vallabh, do you think that this is the strategy? This is the only strategy going forward? Now that we have challenged the status quo, then go full throttle.
See, Sanket, our country, every person, every citizen of our country wants status quo and peace. There is no bargain in that. But I am having 2-3 points and I want answer. Why taking the name of China, which diplomacy angle is going to come down? Number one. Number two, in what circumstances these 20 brave hearts lost their life? And number three, 8 kilometers outside of Pangang So Lake, why the Mandarin signage are there? Why in the signages are written in Mandarin on the our side of LAC on the Pangang So Lake?
Questions being asked by Gaurav Vallabh. Last question, very quickly, running out of time.
Is this not true that there are new incursions in Dapsang Valley near DBO Road? That's what various experts are pointing out.
Questions that the lay visit of the Prime Minister did not answer. Professor Rakesh Sinha and then and Lalita Kumara Mangalam. Very quickly, Professor Sinha. Professor Sinha, to get this in our favor, will we have to protract this standoff? Keep it protracted, in the words of Brahmachelani.
Firstly, there cannot be a bigger insult than this, the martyrdom of our 20 soldiers. When you are disbelieving your own army, they have sacrificed their life for protecting our sovereignty. That does not mean that China has captured our territory. Rumors and gossip does not make the truth. Some people are trying to institutionalize the rumor and gossip. From which source you are saying that? Someone is saying that China has captured such and such territory.
No, but then the government ought to clarify. If there is an official communique from the government that no, nothing of this sort has happened.
Sir, let me complete.
The Prime Minister has said that, Sanket. People don't choose to believe him. How can you blame the Prime Minister?
No, but then see, I've read the clarification of the Prime Minister also. He said I'm speaking about the Galwan incident, and I was speaking about how our brave soldiers were able to push the Chinese back, and thus nobody is on our territory. That was his explanation.
That does not mean that they have captured. I am telling that is true. What Prime Minister is saying, that is true. Second point I am trying to tell you that.
Sure.
As for prolonging we are not jingoists. We are not going under the so-called public pressure and such a hue and cry by
that's a huge allegation also.
And some intellectuals that Nehru did this forward policy. Nehru did forward policy under the pressure of his critic, and India lost. We are not going to.
I know. Don't compare Discovery of India author with the amateur artist of Discovery Channel. Don't compare. There is no comparison of these two.
Oh God, that comparison is back
Yeah,
on.
that we agree. There's no comparison.
There is no comparison. There is no comparison.
I agree,
Please
there
don't
is no
compare the
comparison.
author of Discovery of India with the amateur artist of Discovery Channel. The country had seen both the people. So please, there is no comparison as such. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please have the difference.
Okay, run out of time on the big fight.
I'm sorry. I don't agree with you.
Going forward,
there is on one side there is a Discovery of India author, and on the other side there is an amateur artist of Discovery Channel.
Guys, hard stop on this discussion. I've run out of time. Suhasini wanted to come in. Quick 10 seconds, Suhasini, running out of time.
No, I
have to
still
think
do
of the
want
way
to
forward.
end where we started. Mr. Sinha has said that nothing has happened. There is no transgression inside the Indian side of the LAC. I still think we need to understand three things. One, are the Chinese troops a bigger worry today than they were 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago? Two, are military talks actually not making progress? And that is what the Prime Minister was indicating by his visit today. And the third, are diplomatic.
Why are you believing in global times? Change your source.
I'm not.
Believe your government. Believe your army.
Who is there believing global times? I'm sorry, being offensive is not,
All right.
is not a debate,
All right.
debate tactic.
Suhasini,
It's a ridiculous
can I
tactic.
answer in one question, one dialogue?
Okay, one moment. Before this gets unpleasant,
The Prime Minister went there
the idea of the big fight is not to have
What is
unpleasant
and to make a
conversations.
statement to China,
Professor
do
Rakesh
which he
Sinha.
did.
Here,
How you look
you
at it is up to
should
you.
not speak like that.
No, one more. There were some simple questions that were being asked, Professor Sinha. I guess there is no harm in those questions being answered. As simple as that. But unfortunately, I have run out of time on this debate. Thank you so much. Suhasini Haidar, Lalita Kumaramangalam, Brahma Chelani, Gaurav Vallabh, as well as Professor Rakesh Sinha. Stopping for a short break at this moment. When we come back, we're dreaming of an Atmanirbhar Bharat, an Atmanirbhar India, self-reliant. How our industry is going to work? How are we as a country going to achieve that goal? Because now in these new dynamics with China, what role does the government play? We have a very competent person to answer all those questions. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, MSME Minister, Road Transport Minister, takes all those questions after a short break. Welcome back. Joining us right now is the Union Road Transport as well as MSME Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. My first question, would you like to tell us a little about your ministry's decision against not allowing these Chinese firms, because this was in the news recently?
देखिए, हमारे देश में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में, रोड सेक्टर में सबसे बड़ी समस्या ये थी कि हमारे जो पुराने नियम बने हुए थे उसमें हर कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को टेक्निकल और फाइनेंशियल क्वालिफिकेशन को पूर्तता करनी पड़ती थी। अभी जैसे उदाहरण के लिए हम लोग बड़े बड़े साहिबगंज का पुल बना रहे गंगा पर, या अभी बिहार में पटना में हम लोग 2 ब्रिज बना रहे, या झोजिला टनल बना रहे, या दिल्ली मुंबई हाईवे बना रहे, अभी तक ये देश में बने ही नहीं है। तो जब ये प्री क्वालिफिकेशन में हम ये डालते थे कि भाई इतना बड़ा 8,000 करोड़ की टनल है जोजिला की, और इसको ऐसी इतनी बड़ी टनल जिसने बनाई वो क्वालिफाई होगा, तो कोई आने वाला ही नहीं है क्योंकि हमारे देश में बनी नहीं है। तो जैसे मैंने इसके ऊपर एक लॉजिक हम सबको, हमारे लोगों को बताया कि अगर एक 80 मंजिली बिल्डिंग है तो जो 5 मंजिले बना सकता है वो 80 मंजिले बना सकता है, इसमें कोई टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है, उसको ऊपर ही जाना है। तो मैंने कहा ये हमारे नियम गलत है, और इसलिए हमारे टेक्निकल और फाइनेंशियल क्वालिफिकेशन के कंडीशन के कारण इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्टर में कैपेबिलिटी होने के बाद भी उनको जॉइंट वेंचर फाइनेंशियल और टेक्निकल क्वालिफिकेशन के लिए करना पड़ता था। और मुझे लगता है हमने अभी तक इसके तरफ उनको करने भी दिया, पर जिस प्रकार की परिस्थिति तैयार हुई है उसमें हमें ये उचित नहीं लगता, और इसलिए हमने इसके बाद भविष्य में हम कोई अपॉइंटमेंट डेट नहीं देंगे और वर्क ऑर्डर नहीं देंगे जिनका जॉइंट वेंचर चाइनीज कंपनी के साथ है। और इसके साथ भविष्य में भी हमने सबको कहा है कि आप इस समय चाइनीज कंपनी के साथ जॉइंट वेंचर करोगे तो हम आपको डिस्क्वालीफाई करेंगे। तो ये निर्णय किया देश के हित में है और आज की स्थिति में उचित है, और मुझे लगता ये करने में हमें कोई टेक्निकल अड़चन नहीं आएगी, हमारे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएंगे। और दूसरी तरफ हमने ये भी निर्णय किया है, मैंने सेक्रेटरी की अध्यक्षता में उनको कहा है कि टेक्निकल लोगों के साथ बैठकर ये टेक्निकल और फाइनेंशियल नॉर्म्स को रिलैक्स करने का काम हमको करना पड़ेगा, और वो हम कर रहे हैं। जल्दी ही वो आएगा बाहर, तो हमारी कंपनी भी उसमें क्वालिफाई हो जाएगी। रिगार्डिंग टेक्निकल कोलैबोरेशन के लिए जो टेक्नोलॉजी हमारे देश में अवेलेबल नहीं है या कहीं वर्ल्ड में है, तो वो टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए हम निश्चित रूप से हमारे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जॉइंट वेंचर कर सकते हैं। पर आज हमारे देश में सभी इक्विपमेंट आई है, ऑल जितने वर्ल्ड स्टैंडर्ड के इक्विपमेंट है वो हमारे पास है। हमारे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर बड़े बड़े कंक्रीट रोड बना रहे हैं, उनके पास पेवर्स है, रेडीमिक्स कंक्रीट प्लांट्स है, सब प्रकार का है। सॉइल स्टेबलाइजर की टेक्नोलॉजी है हमारे पास, यूजिंग ऑफ वेस्ट मटेरियल की बात है। तो हमारे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर बड़े बड़े प्री कास्ट में हमारे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। कितने अच्छे अच्छे ब्रिजेस बनाए गए, आप मुंबई के एयरपोर्ट पर, नए एयरपोर्ट पर जाने वाला ब्रिज देखो कितना सुंदर बना है। तो हमारे सभी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर में ये कैपेबिलिटी है। केवल हमने हमारे टेक्निकल और फाइनेंशियल नॉर्म में हम सुधार जो किया है, उससे यही लोग निश्चित रूप से कॉम्पिटेंट भी बन जाएंगे, क्वालिफाई भी हो जाएंगे, और केवल हिंदुस्तान में नहीं तो वर्ल्ड में कहीं भी जाकर काम कर सकेंगे। इतनी काबिलियत उनके पास है, इतनी इंजीनियरिंग एबिलिटी है, ऐसा मैं विश्वास के साथ कह सकता हूं।
करेक्ट। बट मिस्टर गडकरी, डू यू थिंक दैट स्टेप्स लाइक app ban, your ministry's order on no Chinese contracts in road ministry, and this visit clearly prove that the Indian establishment's status quoist attitudes towards China has changed, and that too for good?
देखिए, मैं आपको एक छोटा सा उदाहरण बताता हूं एमएसएमई का। अभी 2 महीने पहले हमने पीपीई किट चाइना से इंपोर्ट की थी, स्पेशल फ्लाइट से आई थी। आज हमारे एमएसएमई इतनी अच्छी किट और इतने बड़े प्रमाण पर बना कि 5 लाख पीपी किट पर डे हम तैयार कर रहे हैं। और आज हमारे कॉमर्स मिनिस्ट्री को मैंने रिक्वेस्ट की कि हमारा प्रोडक्शन इतना ज़्यादा है कि हमको एक्सपोर्ट करने की अनुमति मिले, और आज भारत सरकार ने उसको अनुमति दी है। अब हमारी पीपी किट वर्ल्ड में जा रही है, अब हमको इंपोर्ट करने की आवश्यकता नहीं, हम एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। अगरबत्ती की काड़ियाँ हमारे आती थी, धीरे धीरे हमारे अलग अलग प्रकार से ट्रेडर्स इधर करके लाते ही थे। अब हमने निर्मला जी को रिक्वेस्ट की, वित्त मंत्री को, उन्होंने 30% ड्यूटी बढ़ाई, पीयूष गोयल जी ने, और उन्होंने अब अगरबत्ती की स्टिक्स नहीं आ रही। आपको शायद कल्पना करके आपको हैरान होंगे आप। अब ये केवल एक निर्णय के कारण 25 से 30 लाख गरीब महिला पुरुषों को रोजगार मिला है। अब खादी ग्रामोद्योग की ओर से हम लोग स्पेशली छोटी मशीन जो अगरबत्ती की स्टिक्स बनाती है उनको देने का कार्यक्रम कर रहे हैं, और भारत में इसमें बाम्बू भी अवेलेबल है, ये इस प्रकार का। और अब ये काम हिंदुस्तान में होगा और 25 से 30 लाख लोगों को, महिला पुरुषों को रोजगार मिलेगा। तो मुझे लगता है ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री है, इसमें कास्टिंग है, फाउंड्रीज है, हमारे पास कैपेबिलिटी है। पर क्या है कि चाइना में वॉल्यूम बड़ा होने के कारण उनकी कॉस्ट कम होती है। तो हमारे इंडस्ट्री में इनिशियल स्टेज पर वॉल्यूम कम होगा तो कॉस्ट एकदम कम होने में थोड़ा समय लगेगा। तो धीरे धीरे हम जैसे वॉल्यूम बढ़ाएंगे तो हमारी कॉस्ट भी कॉम्पिटिटिव हो जाएगी, केवल हमारे इंडस्ट्री के लिए नहीं, हम वर्ल्ड में एक्सपोर्ट करने लायक बनेंगे। अब हमारे इंडस्ट्रियल क्लस्टर्स बना रहे हैं हम लोग, एक ही जगह से। चाइना में एक शहर है, उसमें केवल फर्नीचर बनता है, हम भी इंडस्ट्रियल क्लस्टर्स बना रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है डिजाइनिंग से लेकर, प्रोडक्ट डिजाइनिंग से लेकर, विदाउट कॉम्प्रोमाइज विद द क्वालिटी, हम लोग टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करके, हमारे यहाँ भी हमारी कैपेबिलिटी है। आज वर्ल्ड में आप मुझे बताइए कि अच्छे डॉक्टर्स हमारे वेल रिकॉग्नाइज एंड रिस्पेक्ट यूएसए, यूके, सब जगह पर। हमारे सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स नंबर 1 पर है, सब लोग उनको रिकॉग्नाइज करते हैं। इंडिया की इतनी बड़ी पॉपुलेशन है, इतना बड़ा मार्केट है, और स्किल्ड मैन पावर है, इंजीनियरिंग ट्रेन मैन पावर है, इतनी बड़ी ताकत है। और लैंड, लॉ, लिक्विडिटी और लॉ, उसके साथ हम लोग लॉजिस्टिक, 5L में हमने जो चेंजेस लगातार कर रहे हैं आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में, उससे वर्ल्ड बैंक में भी अभी हमारा नंबर रैंक भी बढ़ गया है ईज ऑफ बिजनेस में। धीरे धीरे हम अपनी कैपेबिलिटी को बढ़ाएं, और कैपेबिलिटी बढ़ाने के बाद देश की तो रिक्वायरमेंट हम पूरी कर ही सकेंगे, पर आगे चलकर हम एक्सपोर्ट में भी काफी आगे जाएंगे, ऐसा मुझे विश्वास है।
ठीक है। Mr. Gadkari, it's interesting that you mentioned Atmanirbhar. I wanted to know from you, do you think that these two things have been timed, it's just so happened that they've been timed well, where we are imposing restrictions on these Chinese companies and at the same time we want to be Atmanirbhar? The time is just right to give a boost to Atmanirbhar by, in a way, building an appetite for denying unnecessary imports from China.
देखिए, आत्मनिर्भरता और चीन, इसका दोनों के बातों को जोड़कर आप सोचिए भी मत और इस लाइन में जाइए मत। मैं बचपन में था, मुझे एक अच्छा उदाहरण हमारे टीचर ने दिया था कि दो रेखाएं, एक आपकी और दूसरे की है। दूसरी की रेखा पूछने के बाद आपकी बड़ी होगी, या आपकी रेखा अपने काम से आप बड़ी करिए। मुझे लगता है हमने पॉजिटिव सोच के साथ अपनी रेखा को बड़ा करना चाहिए। केवल चाइना का विषय नहीं है, पूरे वर्ल्ड में हमारा कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस बढ़ना चाहिए और इसके लिए हमको लो कॉस्ट कैपिटल लगेगा, उसके लिए हमको टेक्नोलॉजी को अपग्रेड करना पड़ेगा। अब एमएसएमई में फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट लाने की हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं। मैं अमेरिकन इन्वेस्टर के साथ मेरी एक कॉन्फ्रेंस एक फाइनेंशियल कंपनी ने अरेंज की थी, 10,000 लोगों के साथ चर्चा हुई। फिर उसके बाद में दुबई के इन्वेस्टर के साथ मेरी वीडियो कॉल पे चर्चा हुई। अब एमएसएमई को हम लोग कम से कम 50,000 करोड़ फंड दे रहे हैं कि जो एमएसएमई जिनका इनकम टैक्स का रिकॉर्ड अच्छा है, बैंक का टर्नओवर अच्छा है, जीएसटी का रिकॉर्ड अच्छा है, एक्सपोर्ट करती है, उनका सिंप्लीफिकेशन की मेथोडोलॉजी से हम उनका रेटिंग करेंगे और उनको स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में वो जाएगी और फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट एफडीआई भी उसमें आएगी। अब यही काम हम कर सकते हैं और हमारे में पूरी टेक्निकल एबिलिटी है। ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री हमारी 4.5 लाख करोड़ की है, उसमें से 1,45,000 करोड़ हमारा एक्सपोर्ट है। अभी इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक हमने मार्केट में हमारे लोगों ने लाई है, बजाज और टीवीएस का 50% बाइक का प्रोडक्शन एक्सपोर्ट होता है। और हम एक समय हमारे देश में अभी स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी लाएंगे तो और स्पेयर पार्ट्स की कीमत कम होने में यशस्वी होंगे और मुझे लगता है कि निश्चित रूप से हमारा ऑटोमोबाइल का एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ेगा। तो हर सेक्टर में हम क्या मदद सरकार की ओर से कर सकते हैं, क्या क्या फैसिलिटी दे सकते हैं जिससे हमारा एक्सपोर्ट बढ़े, हमारी इंडस्ट्री आगे जाए, रोजगार की निर्मित हो और देश आत्मनिर्भर बने और 5 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी जो प्रधानमंत्री जी का सपना है वो हम पूरा कर सके।
Okay, important points that you are mentioning, Mr. Gadkari. My final question, last week we interviewed former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram and he said that a free market is actually the future and we must not impose restrictions in the name of Atmanirbhar because it may end up in a situation where we may go back to the era of the 80s. A free market will help India compete in the global economy. I want to know your response.
देखिए, मैं कोई टीका टिप्पणी नहीं करूंगा, पर चिदम्बरम जी जब वित्त मंत्री थे और यूपीए सरकार का राज था, तब ईज ऑफ बिजनेस में वर्ल्ड बैंक में हमारा रैंक कौन सा नंबर पे था? और हमारे 5 साल में हमारी सरकार आने के बाद, मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री होने के बाद, वर्ल्ड बैंक ने हमारे ईज ऑफ बिजनेस में हमारे रैंकिंग को कहां लेके गए? आज कहां? ये तो इसमें भारत सरकार ने तो रैंकिंग नहीं दी है और इसलिए हम लिबरल इकोनॉमी के बिल्कुल पक्षधर है। पर उसके साथ साथ गांव, गरीब, मजदूर, किसान, जो महात्मा गांधी और पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जी ने कहा है कि समाज का जो आखिरी व्यक्ति है, जो शोषित है, पीड़ित है, दलित है, सोशली, इकोनॉमिकली, एजुकेशनली बैकवर्ड है, उसको केंद्र बिंदु मानकर हम नीतियां बनाएंगे। और इसीलिए प्रधानमंत्री जनधन योजना में 3.5 करोड़ जो अकाउंट्स थे वो 35 करोड़ हो गए। आज हम हमारे देश में गरीबों को अनाज लगभग फ्री ऑफ चार्ज देने की योजना को हमने एक्सटेंड कर दिया है। तो एक तरफ गरीब को केंद्र बिंदु मानकर हमको देश की इकोनॉमी को आगे ले जाना है, गरीबी मिटाना है, रोजगार को निर्माण करना है और इंडियन इकोनॉमी को रैंकिंग के रूप से ऊपर ले जाना है। एक बात जरूर है कि ईज ऑफ बिजनेस में वर्ल्ड बैंक ने हमको और ऊपर का नंबर देने के बाद में भी और सुधार करने के पीछे हम लगे हैं और निश्चित रूप से हम डिजिटल सिस्टम का पूरा उपयोग करेंगे और निश्चित रूप से इतना आमूलाग्र परिवर्तन करेंगे ई गवर्नेंस के साथ कि हम उसमें करप्शन नहीं होगा, डिले नहीं होगा डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस में, 100% ट्रांसपेरेंसी होगी, टाइम बाउंड डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस होगी और लोगों को घर में बैठकर डिजिटल सिस्टम के द्वारा अपने काम वो कर सकेंगे जिनको सरकारी दफ्तरों की चक्कर मारने की आवश्यकता नहीं पड़ेगी। अब ये एक आइडियल स्टेज है, बहुत सा काम हमने किया है और इसको गति मिली है और इसलिए लैंड से लेकर लेबर तक, लिक्विडिटी से लेकर लॉजिस्टिक्स तक, सब बातों में कैसे कैसे सुधार हो और कैसे कैसे हमारे इंडस्ट्री के लिए इसका उपयोग हो, इसी प्रयासों से लगातार सरकार प्रयास कर रही है। राज्य सरकार का भी सहयोग ले रही है और मुझे लगता है इसके अच्छे परिणाम निश्चित रूप से आएंगे।
All right. MSME and Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari, always a pleasure talking to you, sir. That's a wrap in this edition of The Big Fight, but news will continue on the other side. Thanks for watching.